And it's Friki de Bici, right on my bici through the streets of Valencia, Spain. Today, we are going to ride to the beach. And while we do that, we will talk about a Medium article that I wrote. Spain has these municipal markets that are in neighborhoods across all the cities, especially the big ones. In Valencia, there are 14 municipal markets alone. The inside of the market here is primarily fruit, vegetable, meat, fish vendors. It's other stuff too, olives, dried fruit, nuts, spices, what have you. And they close at 3 o'clock. The doors to the inside of the market lock and close at 3. That's how it is at the Rusafa market, which is my neighborhood market, and it's the one that I'm really focused on in this article. On the outside of the market, there are other vendors. There's a guy that sells coffee, there's a locksmith, there's a shoemonger, or a shoe cobbler, there's a florist, all kinds of stuff. Some of them stay open past 3. They're providing neighborhood services. They absolutely add to the character of the neighborhood, of the country. But other than that, as they start to close, the market really does become a dead space. And I think that's a missed opportunity for it to serve as a real central hub for the neighborhood. Now, the city of Valencia is auctioning off spaces in the markets across the city, including about a dozen spaces in Rusafa. And it's stated itself that this latest move is meant to boost the economy and enhance neighborhood life. This is them talking. And it's also in response to the reality that the number of occupied stalls in the markets has dropped by several hundred in the last few years. Now, this is a problem here. I'm not making this up. As I say in the article, I've had at least a couple of locals say to me, we can't go to the market because it closes at 3. We can only go on Saturdays. During the week, we work. We just can't get there. That's an issue. Now, as I said in the article, and it seems to have been ignored, I don't think the solution is necessarily for the people who exist in the market right now to stay open past 3. That's a big ask. However, that said, the market needs to do something in order to sustain itself and ensure that this core function that starts in the morning and ends at 3 of selling produce and meat and so forth to people is able to sustain over the long term. They need to do something. They have to reimagine things. They have to look at, for example, what Testaccio Market in Rome does. Testaccio Market is in the Testaccio neighborhood, just like the Rusafa Market is in the Rusafa neighborhood. And both of these neighborhoods are very popular neighborhoods where people go to eat, to drink, to socialize, to have a good time. I don't know about Testaccio, but I know about Rusafa. It's about as close to a 24/7 neighborhood you're going to find anywhere. It makes Las Vegas look sleepy. It even makes New York City look sleepy. Trust me, I live on a 5th floor apartment just up the street from the market in one of the hearts of this neighborhood. It is the reason why we moved here, is to experience this type of life, which is very Spanish. It's very Valencia. However, when you read a couple of the comments, and I'm just sampling a couple, but a few of these comments, oh, you moved here less than a year ago, and you're already trying to change the European lifestyle. Or you've been there less than a year, and what? You want everybody to stay open 24/7? This guy. I'm old enough to remember when everything closed on Sundays and holidays. Well, I'm young enough to remember when everything closes on Sundays and holidays here in Spain. Because it still does. That's alive, and that is not to be mistaken with the reality that lots of Europe, I mean, I saw it in Paris, seen it in other parts of Spain, I'm definitely seeing it in Valencia. Valencia might be the extreme example, where everything really is 24/7. From morning until morning. I would say for a good 16 to 18 hours a day, my neighborhood and many neighborhoods in the city are full of life. Meanwhile, the market slowly starts losing that life when they close the doors at 3 o'clock. Now, there is an ice cream place that just opened on the outside of the market, right next to this plaza that I talked about. And it seems like they're doing really brisk business. They are open early and they stay open late. I have to think this is either a formal or informal experiment. I hope that it's a formal or informal experiment to see about the viability of doing some things a little bit differently, like Pistachio Market says itself. On the inside, it blends what they call, I'm not making up this word, what they call, in the Italian equivalent, innovative vendors alongside the traditional ones. Now, Rustapa Market, I think, has done a little bit of that. Other markets in Spain have pivoted. There's a great one in Madrid that has really focused on having places to eat where they use what you can buy in the market, and it's a really, really great market. Others have pivoted in a direction that is a bit more touristy, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of those markets. Here in Valencia, not a huge fan of the Central Market because it is very touristy. Now, this isn't the fault of anything of the markets. It's not because of anything they've done. It's just the dynamics of the neighborhood and what the neighborhood is going through right now. But in Rome, at Pistachio, they have the same basic daytime setup, open from morning until about 3. They've mixed things up a little bit inside during that time, but it's still the place where you go and you buy your stuff. However, they activate the space a lot after 3 o'clock. They do cultural events, they have DJ sets. I just saw they're going to be having events for Halloween, and it's everything from stuff that would appeal to kids to stuff that appeals to a wide range of adults. Like, it's all over the board. You check their events page and you see. And my argument is that in order for these markets in Spain to not only survive, but to thrive, they really do need to take on that attitude. In order to serve the daytime core, which absolutely cannot go away, they need to do things in support of it. It would really suck to see the core function of these markets diminish or fade away altogether at some point. Like, I use my market in the morning most days of the week. I absolutely love the place. When my favorite produce vendor was gone, I felt it. Like, it changed the market for me. It changed my eating pattern. It really did. When they came back after being on vacation for practically the entire month of August, and more power to them. Another great thing about Spain, many people here take the entire month off, different periods of time in the summer. When they came back, I said, "Estáis de vuelta? Os he echado de menos?" El mercado no era lo mismo sin vosotros. You're back. I missed you. The market's not the same without you. And it's true. And this is from somebody that's been here for 8 months. Imagine if you've been going to this place for, you know, a couple of decades or more. To see it go away, that would be rough, and it would certainly not be good for Spain. This is a tradition, this is history that the country absolutely needs to keep alive. There's just a life, a vibe to neighborhoods here, particularly Rusafa in Valencia, that it's just part of a rhythm that exists. It's part of the way that people live here. And for the market to not reflect that, for the market to not embody that, it's a bit weird that it sits as a dead space for so many hours when the surrounding area is so alive. It should really, its life should extend both later in the day and into the rest of the neighborhood. It would serve the purpose of strengthening that daytime core of the market that you don't want to lose. So that's all that I was saying. And anybody that says, oh, you're coming there to try to change things, no, not at all. So that's how I feel about it. I wanted to just clarify and reiterate. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, like the video, and link to the Medium articles in the description, and also ways you can support this Friki de Bici project as we ride our bikes around the streets of Valencia, Spain.